Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Angie, and I'll be moderating today's webinar. We'll get things started very shortly, but take this time to ensure you can hear me correctly and your microphone's muted. You should also be seeing the introductory slide to today's webinar on the screen with the title, Demo, Virtual Events, Meals, and Delivery. I'll be back in a few minutes to kick things off and introduce your host. Hi, everyone. This is Angie Healy here from Uber for Business. I'll be your moderator for today's webinar. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're incredibly excited to share today's topic with you. Make sure you've got a pen and paper handy because we'll be covering a lot of useful information. We will also send out the recording and slides afterwards. And before we start, I want to cover a few housekeeping topics. There will be a series of live polls throughout today's session. An example is shown on the slide here. And we ask that you answer these polls so we can do the best throughout the webinar to tailor our topics to how you guys are using vouchers and the questions that you have. Also, feel free to shoot us a chat throughout the webinar. We'll do our best to respond to all of you. And for chats we can't answer, an Uber representative will follow up after today's session. Similarly with questions, we will do a live Q&A at the end of today's webinar, so be sure to submit your questions throughout these, and we'll answer the most popular questions live and follow up afterwards if we're not able to take yours. Great. And lastly, our agenda for today will cover an introduction of vouchers, followed by a live product demo, an overview of the exciting features launching soon, before we wrap things up with the live Q&A. Make sure you stick around for the full presentation, since we will be giving out your voucher at some point during today's session. So with that, we'll start by introducing yourself. So you know me, my name is Angie Healy. I'm the Strategy and Operations Manager for Vouchers. And like I mentioned, I'll be your moderator today. I'll turn it over to Zach and Renak to introduce themselves.
Hey folks, I'm Zach. I'm a product manager on the Uber for Business technology suite and mostly handle all of the organization facing products. So I'll talk you through our dashboard later today and I'll hand it over to Ronak.
Everyone, I'm Ronak. I lead the Vouchers product team, and I'm really excited to be here with you all today. As Angie and Zach mentioned, we're going to go into detail on how to use vouchers for virtual events. But before we get into that, I'd like to provide a little bit of background on Uber for Business. So as you all know, Uber started with its ride-sharing services for consumers back in 2009, a long time ago. And Uber for Business is a platform that's built on top of this technology to help organizations request, track, and expense rides and meals for employees. Over the last several years, we've expanded to over 150,000 organizations and over 26 countries, so quite a large footprint. With this expansion, we've introduced new products like Vouchers, which has allowed Uber for Business to move beyond being a solution just for employees to a solution for all your organization's stakeholders. So what are Uber Vouchers? It's a way for your organization to subsidize rides or meals on our platform for customers, prospects, VIP guests, and of course, even employees. Now, more than ever, organizations are looking for ways to engage customers and employees in new and creative ways. With Vouchers, an administrator at an organization can log into the Vouchers dashboard to create vouchers. Here, they can customize controls, distribute these vouchers at scale, and easily track voucher redemptions and cost. Zach will go a little bit more into detail in the product demo section. So why would you use vouchers versus other solutions? First, vouchers are pay for use. So no matter what size of company, we're all looking for ways to manage our spend more efficiently. With vouchers, you only pay for the rides or meals that are actually used by the recipients, unlike, for example, a gift card solution. Second, you can set parameters to control when and how vouchers are used, such as setting the expiry date for a voucher, and even make sure that the voucher only covers rides from a particular origin or destination. Third, you can leverage Uber's scale with vouchers to provide value across both the Uber Rides and Uber Eats platform and across several countries and currencies. Especially during COVID, we've seen customers leverage vouchers in very interesting ways. For example, you can provide an elevated experience to registered attendees of a virtual event by providing Uber Eats vouchers. You can even increase attendance by offering Eats vouchers to those who attend the virtual event. So you can imagine offering a $5 Uber Eats vouchers to the first 100 attendees, for example. For in-person events, you can provide transportation to a conference and ensure that your org is only covering trips to and from a particular venue or set of venues. So as you can see, there's several ways that you can leverage vouchers to increase attendance, enhance attendee experience, and effectively manage cost, even in a COVID environment. Now, we'd love to hear from each of you on how you think vouchers can be used for your own events. You should see a poll on the screen very shortly, and please pick which use case resonates most with you. Really cool to see a lot of engagement from the group, so thank you for that. I'll give you just another minute. Great, so we've hit almost all the attendees completing the poll, so thank you. In terms of the top use cases that we saw, number one is employee perks. The second is webinars, similar to this one. And third is happy hour and company-wide meetings. So thank you. This information is very helpful to us as we develop our products. And with that, I will hand it over to Zach, who will walk you through the specifics of how to create a voucher.
Hey folks, again, I'm Zach, product manager on the voucher organization facing tools. I'll walk you through our dashboard today and how to create a voucher. So vouchers are organized in campaigns, and a campaign lets you create a voucher with a certain value and certain configuration that you can use for a specific event or an ongoing event or an allowance or other things like that. And so what you see here is the vouchers dashboard. In the vouchers dashboard, if you're an existing U4B or Uber for Business client, this is linked from your core business dashboard. And this lets you create vouchers and see your ongoing campaigns. Here you can see under active the campaigns that we have running right now. And you can also search through these campaigns and go to the top left at create a new voucher to create a new voucher campaign. From there, you can choose the type of voucher you want to use. There's 3 vouchers available. Vouchers for all Uber products, which lets your recipients cover rides or meals at scale. Vouchers just for Uber Eats, which provides discounted meals or credits for Uber Eats. And then bulk vouchers, which lets you create bulk rides for your recipients. Let's say we're creating a Uber Eats voucher. And so the first thing we can do is we can create the program basics, and you can create a voucher name, which can be viewed internally, but also will be what's shown to the recipients, as well as the event start and end date. And you can customize the time zone to wherever your recipients are. You can also create an internal memo, which some people like to use for tracking purposes or expense codes. Let's see. And then once you have that all filled out, you can progress to the next section and add in the voucher details. So you can create any number of vouchers from 1 or 5 or 10 to up to thousands, depending on your needs. And each user can just receive 1 voucher. So it's generally the number of vouchers is the number of users for your use case. You can then choose the coverage type, which in this case for Uber Eats can be a per meal discount or a credit. If you choose a per meal discount, you're able to choose the number of meals you want to be covered by the voucher and how much you want to cover the meals up to. So let's say in our example, we're hosting a sales kickoff for about 100 people. We want each of them to have 2 meals, let's say for 2 lunches in 2 days. And we want to cover up to $25 for that lunch. Alternatively, if you don't want to cover a certain dollar amount, you can also give a percentage off each of the meals. So say you just want to give a perk for joining a specific event, you can cover 25% off a meal up to a certain amount. And you can change both the percentage off and the max budget per meal. If you want to give a little bit more flexibility, you can also choose total credit value. And what total credit lets you do is it lets the recipients of the voucher choose how they want to use it. Whether they want to order 5 meals or 10, they can distribute that $60 over all the meals they want to use. It's still capped at $60, so that's still the max budget, but they just get to choose how many meals they want to use the voucher over. You can also have the flexibility to reload the voucher every X days or weeks or months. So if you want to give someone a specific budget or allowance over a time period, it lets you do that quite easily. Let's say you're giving a $25 budget per day or a per diem over the course of a 6-day event. You can have the voucher last for those 6 days and have the value reload, the $25 value reload every day. So now we're going to progress into another question. We'd love to know from you guys, which virtual event platform do you currently use? We'll give this 1 more minute for people to respond. Awesome, looks like the vast majority of folks have responded. And so I think we can share the results. Looks like the vast majority is other platforms. We'd love to hear kind of some of the platforms you use if you wanted to share in the chat. But behind that, Cvent seemed like the most popular, which we will be actually working closely with in the future. Moving on. Sorry, give me 1 second. After you create the voucher details, you'll be able to distribute those vouchers to your recipients. And there's two ways to do this. If you have the contact information of your recipients, we can help distribute the vouchers for you. And so we'll either send them an SMS or email sharing the voucher and the information on how to use it, if you share their phone number or their email address. Or if you want to distribute the vouchers yourself, we can provide you the link and you can share it however you may want. People tend to prefer giving us the contact information and having us distribute them, just because it saves you the time having to use a mail merge or create content on instructions on how to use the voucher, and it helps avoid some potential issues on sharing the wrong link, etc. And so if you choose to provide the contact information for sharing, there's a few ways to do that. One is you can just use our user interface to add in users' information. So let's say we added Angie here and her phone number. And then you can add a list of contacts there. Or if you have a larger list, you can paste in the information from your recipients, including their names and either their phone number or email, separated by commas. If you have an even larger list potentially, you can also upload a CSV of your recipients. And this lets you, if you have another software you're downloading recipients from or contact information from, or a list of attendees or VIPs or clients, you can just upload it here. Once you've added the details, either through the CSV paste or through manual adding, you can see your recipients below. If for some reason you don't have all of your recipients' information at the moment of creation, you can always add it later. After you've added your recipients, or chosen to just create a link for you to distribute later, you can choose the type of link you want to share with your recipients. We offer two different links. One is a general vouchers link, which lets you have one specific URL that you can share with all of your recipients, and they can all use it to claim their voucher. Alternatively, that's the most flexible option, and generally the easiest. However, if you want something a little bit more secure and easier to track, you can also create unique vouchers links, which lets you create a specific URL for each voucher recipient, and they all have their own unique link they can only claim once, which gives you a little bit more security if needed. After you've chosen your distribution method, you can review the information and confirm it looks good to you, and then create the vouchers, at which point we'll distribute it to your users. Here you can see what'll be shown on the user side. And so on the right, you can see on the right, you can see the virtual sales kickoff, which is the name we named our vouchers, the $60 in total credit each recipient will receive, and the start and end date for the voucher. Also, during the claim screen on the left, you can see they'll see a short overview of the voucher and the terms, as well as you can have the option to incorporate your brand. And so you can put your logo front and center for your users in order to emphasize your name and who's distributing vouchers to your customers, clients, or employees. And to progress on, we have another question for you, which is, what would your preferred method of distribution be for these vouchers? So awesome. It looks like the majority of you have responded. I think we can share the answers. It seems like it's a little bit of a tie between people distributing their own vouchers through email or Uber distributed through email. It looks like a few other folks are also thinking of distributing it via QR codes and SMS as well. So all of those options are available, and we're always improving features to make all of this distribution methods easier. And so after you create your voucher campaign, you'll be able to see it on the main dashboard under active campaigns if it's an ongoing campaign that's already started, or upcoming if the start date hasn't yet passed. If you want to look into the campaign that you've created specifically, you can see the number of vouchers that have been claimed, the spend to date, and the meals, or you can see the specific recipients as well and see if they've claimed it, have used it already, or haven't yet claimed it. This can help you understand who's being engaged with the voucher, as well as to help resolve issues that might pop up. Both the creation process and the review process for vouchers is very similar across rides vouchers and vouchers for everything as well. And so just to sum up, vouchers is a flexible product that lets you, give value to your VIPs, your clients, sales prospects, or even employees at scale. You can provide both rides and eats, or just meals or rides. Across our, you can provide meals across our 500,000 restaurants and iconic brands like Starbucks, or rides to preset destinations or specific venues. And we're super excited by offering kind of this flexibility for all of you for all the different event use cases you might have, whether it's remote during this COVID time, or back in the real world someday soon, when you create some real world events. And so now we'll progress to the most exciting time of the day, where we can give you the vouchers for this event. And so just to claim the voucher you'll be receiving, you can point your camera at the QR code on your mobile phone, and it should open a link to a voucher, which you can either claim in the Uber app or through our website. If for some reason you don't have your phone nearby, or you're struggling with the QR code, we'll also be distributing the codes to you by email after the event, so no worries. I'll give you a minute to scan that QR code. Okay, great. And like I mentioned, if for some reason the QR code isn't working for you, we'll be sure to distribute the voucher to you after the event. And so to move on, we have one more question for you. What's your biggest event pain point that Uber can help alleviate? And we'll give you another minute to respond. I know some of you are still claiming your voucher, so no worries if you can't do both at once. All right, great. And so I think we can share the responses now. It looks like the biggest pain point that people are having is offering a unique incentive to attend, which is definitely a case we see a lot with our clients. Also, other big pain points are engaging with attendees and providing added value for customers, which are definitely other use cases we see people use. So I'm going to progress now back to coming soon, where we'll talk about the upcoming features we'll be using.
Great, thanks, Zach, and thanks for going through the detailed voucher creation flow. So while we've made many improvements over the year of 2020 to the vouchers platform, we are by no means slowing down. And I'd like to highlight a few projects that are coming over the course of 2021 that can help you make your virtual events stand out. And I know some of these have come up in the questions, so hopefully this will answer some of the questions in the Q&A. First is personalized event codes. So you can make it easy for your guests to remember your voucher code by personalizing it. Here you can see we've added virtual sales kickoff as the personalized event code for the sales kickoff that we had last week. Second is branded distribution communications. So you can put your event's brand front and center by creating a logo to distribute alongside the voucher. Here, again, you can see the logo for our sales kickoff that we had last week, which let every attendee know why they're getting a voucher and adds a little bit of personalization to the experience. Lastly is added usage controls. We are building in more features to allow you to control exactly what you are subsidizing on the platform. And in particular, we're building the option to restrict vouchers from being used towards alcohol purchases, which is a pain point we hear from many customers, as well as the option to restrict Uber Eats vouchers to a set of specific restaurants as well. So to close, vouchers are a new and exciting way to benefit customers, prospects, and employees. You can leverage the entire Uber platform across Uber Eats and Uber Rides, and leverage Uber's global footprint as well. Unlike other products like gift cards, you only pay for what's used, and you get to set controls and parameters on usage. And so with that, I'll pass it back over to Angie.
Great, thank you, Ronak and Zach, for going through the demo and what's coming soon. Very exciting to see. I have here, and I've been sending some of you guys the website to sign up for vouchers. So visit uber.com/business/vouchers to get started today, or you can contact our team at that link, businesses.uber.com/contact-representative, to get in touch with a person from Uber for a more personal demo and get your questions answered. We are taking down all these questions to answer afterwards, so an Uber representative will follow up with you if you've submitted a question. So keep them coming so we can follow up with them. But for now, we will take a few questions that have been the most popular live for Ronak and Zach. So one of the biggest ones that's coming from the chat from Ronnie and Lisa in particular is, how do vouchers work when attendees are in different countries or using different currencies?
Great, I can take that one. So the way that the platform works, it really works across currencies and countries, as long as our platform is available there. So for example, if you are sitting in the US and you set up a $50 voucher for employees that happen to be across the globe, we will translate that $50 into local currency, and users can leverage that currency as long as Uber Eats is available in that particular market.
Great. Another popular question is about how you're charged for vouchers. So Ronak or Zach, can you guys speak to when you're charged for the vouchers and what amount you're charged for? So the full amount of everything you set up, or what do you talk through a little bit of that?
I can take this one as well. There's as a starting point, for vouchers, you only pay for the vouchers that are used. So there's no scenario where you're actually paying more than what your guests, customers, or employees actually used on the platform. So that's point number one. There was a few specific questions about the billing mechanisms. And so we have a few different options for folks to leverage in terms of how they want to be billed. We have an option where you are charged at the end of every month. So all the value that's accrued over the course of the month, we will bill you once at the end of the month. We also have an option where you are billed at the end of every day, which some organizations prefer, so they can kind of manage and monitor the expenses over the course of the voucher campaign.
Great. Another big one is for distribution. If we distribute via Uber, do we have to do everyone via email or everyone via SMS, or is there a mix of both that we can do?
Yeah, so here we can actually do a mix of both. And so once you log into the Vouchers dashboard, you'll be prompted to upload a set of recipients. And here we can take phone numbers or email addresses. So it's very simple distribution mechanism based off whatever contact information that you have available. Furthermore, if we are able to match that particular email or phone number to an existing Uber account, we'll be able to actually surface these vouchers within the app. So say somebody happens to miss the email, but opens the Uber Eats app, we would be able to show that they have a voucher waiting from your organization right there in the application.
Great. Another few questions coming in on tracking of vouchers. Can you still track who has used the voucher, claimed it, or redeemed it if you use the general distribution method?
Yes, so here you can still track who has claimed and redeemed the voucher, even if you use a general link. Within the dashboard, you can essentially download a CSV that shows the usage of this voucher, and this will show the name of the user, the number of orders or trips they have taken, as well as the amount spent by that particular user on the voucher.
Great. And we have time, I think, for one more question. Will you guys talk through how to prevent people from sharing vouchers externally from not the people that are meant to receive the vouchers?
Yeah, that's a great question. And so I think there's two mechanisms that we see cuts down on the sharing behavior. One is to use, instead of a general link, what we call an individual link. And so that means that if I were sending out vouchers to all hundreds of attendees on this webinar, I would be sending out a specific link to each particular person. So that's the first way you can make sure that each link is only available for one user. The second way is by leveraging our Uber distributed voucher system. Once you upload contact information into our dashboard, the users are able to click directly and add the voucher to their account. And so they don't actually see the voucher code, which makes it less likely for them to share this more broadly.
Great, thank you so much all. That is everything we have time for today. We appreciate you guys taking the time to join us and learn more about vouchers. Again, we will send an email out to all of you following this with the slides and recording. The voucher link will be included in that if you didn't have a chance to claim it with the QR code during the presentation. And if you had a question or a chat, we will have an Uber representative follow up with you shortly on that, but feel free to visit the contact representative site as well. Thank you so much.